Hi everybody. I can just see some more people just filtering in, so I'll just wait about 20 seconds for them to come in. Great. Okay, I think everyone's in now. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to JobAdder's Breakfast Club webinar series. So we're going to talk all things remote working. I'm Christina. I'm head of marketing here at JobAdder, and today I'm here with James from Employment Hero. So thanks for joining us, James.
It's a pleasure. I think it's the first time I've done a webinar in my UGG boots, so it's a special pleasure today.
Silver lining. So let's just jump straight in. So tell us about Employment Hero. What's your elevator pitch?
Oh, okay. So essentially, Employment Hero is an all-in-one HR, payroll, and employee benefits platform. We have an overall goal and mission to make employment easier and more rewarding. So we have about 5,000, excuse me, we've got about 5,000 businesses on our platform, and that's a total of about 180,000 employees. We also integrate with a lot of different partners. So we integrate with lots of major payroll platforms. We've even brought Go1, who's an LMS, a learning management system, into our platform. And obviously we partner with JobAdder as well.
Yeah, awesome. So we all know there's been a lot of changes in the way that we work recently. What are some of the issues that you're seeing in the way that people are hiring and managing their employees at the moment?
Sure. So, I mean, there's one thing on everyone's mind at the moment, isn't there? So the Rona, or the vid, as I like to call it. So that's, for us, it's creating a couple of things. One of the really big issues that we saw, particularly over the last couple of weeks, was just uncertainty. People didn't know how long this is going to last, what it meant for them as a business, whether they'd be able to still stay afloat, whether they'd be able to employ their employees. So that's been one of the really sort of big things that's controlling the discussions over the last couple of weeks. I think that the tide is starting to turn with that. Obviously, the JobKeeper package has done a lot for businesses, and we've had a lot of businesses coming to us and sort of saying that they've got a lot more confidence in where their business is going now, and that they can actually stay afloat, they can keep hiring their employees, and so that is really helping. As well, we can sort of see evidence now of being able to flatten the curve and sort of like a return to somewhat normal conditions, at least on the horizon. So I think the uncertainty thing is getting a lot better. Obviously, the really big changes that's come for almost everyone, and I assume for most people on this call, is working remotely. So all of a sudden, businesses were suddenly sort of thrown into the deep end with sending people home to work from home, and a lot of businesses hadn't done that before. One of the really big challenges, outside of the obvious in staying distracted from your kids or dogs or everything else that goes on, is just when you've got a whole lot of businesses who are running their business and their employees and their recruitment really manually and on paper. As soon as you take people out of the office, that completely falls apart. So one of the really big challenges that I think that people are seeing in the general sort of recruitment and employment space is, hang on a second, we've got spreadsheets and filing cabinets and paper forms that control everything that we do here, and all of a sudden they just don't work because the filing cabinets at work, a lot of people don't even have a printer at home. So all of a sudden we're facing a really big challenge here in how to actually manage employees when you don't have any sort of tech stack in place to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And you're right, because it just happens so quickly that I think if you weren't already set up for this sort of remote working, then I think a lot of businesses probably had a little bit of a shock. So so how would you say that Employment Hero is solving these issues for people?
Right, so Employment Hero is basically built, we're in a really sort of nice situation personally, where we're a platform that's built to do a lot of things, but one of the things that's built to do is just be able to manage employment completely without paper and completely without manual process, and replace all of that for a business. So we are a platform that is designed to enable you to hire someone, once you decide to hire someone, to actually onboard them in about 2 minutes from an employer's perspective, and from an employee's perspective, probably 5 minutes, all of which is done completely remotely and online. All of your obviously we're all cloud-based, so you can manage it from anywhere. There is no need for any paper or manual process throughout the whole system. So it's designed to really help with that. Funnily enough, we as most tech platforms do have a really long roadmap of things that we're looking to build and looking to do. When this all hit about a month ago, we basically looked at our roadmap and we completely rejigged it to prioritize, really heavily prioritize a lot of tools that specifically assist people with working from home. So we're in the process of building and releasing out one-on-ones. We've always had performance reviews, but a less formal sort of just way to track one-on-ones between manager and employees. Building custom surveys so you can keep a really good pulse on employees. We've always had happiness surveys, but be able to just build your own. And manage a dashboard so they can really clearly see what's happening with all of their employees, and enhancement of different sort of task modules as well. So all of those new bits of functionality go really nicely with our existing stack of tools, such as we've got a goals tool, which is really good at aligning employees and on what they're actually doing and tracking their performance. Because I think one of the things that a lot of managers are struggling with at the moment is just getting a really good handle on where their employees are at, what they're doing. And a lot of managers are finding they're losing a bit of control in that process, and they don't really know what's happening when they're not sitting next to someone. So yeah, tools such as a really good goals module, a really good one-on-ones module, also the ability to motivate employees. So we've also got a shout-outs tool and a reward and recognition tool built into the platform as well. And I think that when employees are sitting at home in their room doing, working all day without too much external reinforcement, it becomes quite hard. So if you've got something like that in place, it really helps.
Yeah, that's great. And I think a lot of it is, if someone lives alone, then they're probably a little bit in isolation. So I think definitely at the moment, anything that can sort of drive that recognition and some of that is really, really good. So on that, can you share some of the wins that your customers are having at the moment?
Yeah, I can. So interestingly, we're sort of, and I imagine probably some of the listeners this might resonate with them. We're sort of seeing businesses split into roughly 3 camps that we're dealing with. So camp 1 is sort of hospitality, retail type businesses, in which case all bets are off. They've got a whole lot of things they need to be dealing with, and looking at their tech stack is not top of their list, obviously. Then you've got businesses who are going to be fine, right? Like they're not going under. They're going to go through a rough patch, as most businesses are, and they might they might have a lot more uncertainty than a lot of other businesses, but at the same time they're going to come through it from the other side. And within those, there's sort of 2 groups. There's one group that is basically shutting up shop and going, do you know what? No, we don't know what's going to happen. Focus on the uncertainty. Let's just wait and see how this plays out before we make any business decisions. And then the third group, I think, is the group where we're finding a lot of the most successful businesses are coming from, which are the businesses that are saying, look, I know there's a lot of uncertainty at the moment, but there are also a lot of certainties, right? And if you look at the certainties, they are, for most businesses, that business as usual work will be decreasing. The amount of time that their people have will be increasing. And then they sort of find themselves in this 1 in 100 year situation where you've got a business that has lots of people with lots of time, they're being underutilized, right? And that almost never happens. And so the really, really smart businesses, the ones who are saying, right, let's actually use this as an opportunity, and let's use our excess time and let's use our excess resources, and let's work on projects that have otherwise just been sitting on the shelf that we just never get time to do because we don't have that time and resources. And so investing in products and services and tech stacks which actually future-proof a business has been something which they've been really focusing on, and that's where we've seen a lot of success come from them. And we've seen that come. It's sort of hard to predict which businesses are doing that. Like we've seen businesses taking these steps for like sports clubs and swim schools, and these sort of businesses which you wouldn't really expect to be taking those sort of quite pragmatic decisions. So I think that the biggest success stories are the people in Camp 3 who said, I want to focus on what's certain for my business, and I want to make use of what can actually be a really good opportunity for us.
Yeah, that's awesome. So James, could you just give us a really high level overview of Employment Hero and how it interacts with JobAdder?
Sure. So Employment Hero essentially is designed to handle all aspects of recruitment or all aspects of employment once you decide to hire someone. So we fit really nicely with JobAdder in that we don't handle the recruitment side of things at all. So the way that it would work, excuse me, the way that a business would use Employment Hero alongside JobAdder is you would run JobAdder for your whole recruitment process, like many businesses are. You would manage your pipeline, manage all of your interviews. Once you're then ready to hire an employee, you would then press a button. Those basic employee details go from JobAdder to Employment Hero, and that then triggers the whole onboarding process. So from there, you would onboard the employees through Employment Hero, and by onboard, I mean generating a contract, collecting all of their details that you need to get them paid, doing all their policies and induction content and all that sort of stuff. And then once they're on there, they have a full employee self-service where they can do things like leave and timesheets and all the sort of stuff that we talked about as well.
Yeah, that's perfect. So it's really easy. That's a really clean integration by the sounds of it. So if anyone's got any questions, I'm just going to open it up to some questions now. Okay, so I've had a question come through from Christy. So Christy said, can you give us a run through of how much Employment Hero costs?
Sure. So Employment Hero is a software as a service platform we run on a subscription basis. So as I briefly mentioned before, we have an HR platform and we also have a payroll platform. So there are different tiers of subscriptions. So we have a free tier where people can just go and try the platform out. And as a side note to this, with everything that's happening during this whole COVID-19 crisis, we've been doing a lot of stuff to try and help businesses, particularly small businesses who are probably struggling the hardest. And so we do actually have the full version of Employment Hero's HR platform available completely for free for the next 3 months for businesses of 20 employees and under. So any businesses who are interested in that, check out our website. You'll see all the details on there. Otherwise, the subscription ranges from, then we have a standard version of our HR platform, which starts at $5 or $6 rather. And that then trends up to the sort of top level subscription, which is at $14. And these are per employee per month costs. And then we've got payroll as well, which ranges from $4 to $6 per employee per month.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so we've had a question come through from Lachlan. So how is Employment Hero different from other HR software?
Okay. So for a few reasons, Lachlan. Firstly, Employment Hero is actually the only piece of software in Australia that is an all-in-one HR, employee benefits, payroll, rostering, time and attendance, and award interpretation engine. So there's nobody else who does that as an all-in-one stack in Australia. More than that, though, it's designed to, there are a lot of HR platforms that are built to make the life of an HR manager easy and for an HR manager to love. But there aren't that many platforms that are built not just for HR managers to love, but also for employees to love. And that's what we've really tried to do is we've tried to make a platform that genuinely benefits all users of the platform, no matter what their role is. And we've done that through a whole series of employee benefits and discounts that are built in. We've given employees the ability to access their pay before their payday is due, and a whole lot of other really game-changing benefits that is new to the Australian market.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so Audrey has asked through, so how developed is your payroll system side of the product?
Okay, so Audrey, to answer your question, I mean, it does everything that a normal payroll system would do. We are fully integrated with the ATO for single touch payroll. We have about, I don't know the actual number, I think it's about 40 of the modern awards built in, which means all of the rates of the awards, all of the rules of the awards are all completely built in and are designed to mean that you can just pay your employees completely compliantly without any effort, which, as you guys all know, is a really big part of what's going on at the moment. And it also has built-in rostering and the ability for employees to clock on and off in real time as well. So it does all of the standard things that you'd expect a payroll system to do, plus a lot of that other functionality, which really assists, particularly with a casual-based workforce.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, cool. So that's all of the questions that we have through today. So James, thank you so much for your time. If anyone wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Cool. So probably best just to get in touch with us generally through our website. So if you go onto our website, there's a contact us button. Click it, and it'll take you to wherever you need to go.
Perfect. All right. Thanks so much, James. We'll see you soon.
You're welcome. Thanks for your time. It's been a pleasure.
Bye.